Greetings and welcome to SmartWatch Ticks. Oh yes, it's an exciting day because we have an unboxing to do. We are unboxing, you ever heard of these guys? A Linwo Sport Never Stop. Yes, we are back into the blood pressure of it all. Fitness bands and watches that can actually monitor your blood pressure as well as your heart rate and other things. And this one is kind of the last in the series of the new breed of these type of devices. So after we give this a good little look over, we'll be able to finally do the master video you've all been wanting to tell us how accurate are they really? Do they actually work? Can you compare them with something calibrated? All right, we're going to be doing that, not in this video, but very, very soon. So we've got a Linwo smart band with a box, a manual, and the strangest looking little plug. Look at that thing. Yeah, you know, that's like a female one of these that if this were a little bit longer, I could just reach, plug it in. So that tells me that there's like something hidden here. All right, I've peeked ahead. I looked at the manual and I discovered that on the opposite side of the button, there is a button on this watch. You can grab it and yank it and take it apart. And this little puppy here can actually slide right into the USB charger port on your computer, or you can plug it into a dongle extender like this and plug that into your computer. Fully chargeable right from a hidden USB connector in the band. Hello, you can take this anywhere you want and be able to just quickly charge it up. And you're not going to have to very often because it's got a really long battery life. How long is it? Well, let me put it this way. I ordered this thing and it was, oh gosh, way before Christmas. And it took how do they say, a slow boat from China? It really was this time. This is end of February, and it just came in when I opened the box to peek at it. Doggone, it was already on. I picked it up, and it lit up, and it was just about like this. Maybe just one thing there, but it had been riding all across the ocean, turned on, I guess checked out before they sent it, and still had charge in it. So that's really impressive. I've had this a couple of days now. I've accumulated some data. You're going to get to see that. And we're going to play with it. But first, let's look at the manual, the user's guide. This is the product detail. Get a good picture here so you can freeze frame and read about it. I'm so glad when we get one that also has the English manual in it. Occasionally it comes only in Chinese, and that can be a serious problem, right? There's the QR code that you're expected to scan and download the app that you'll need for interface. And I got to tell you, all of these heart rate, blood pressure, fitness bands, the juice is in the app, not so much the unit. The unit is kind of a data collector, and it has some display stuff on it that you can do when you're out in the field. But the real magic comes with the associated app. So you definitely want to know what app is going to be associated with your fitness device, and check that app out in advance. This one, we've seen it before. You're going to see it again. It's got some goods, it's got some bads, it's got some I wish it hads, but they all do. So, and that's the Chinese side. So we're kind of stuck with it, and that's what we're going to use. So let's talk first of all about how we got this thing from our good folks at BangGood. And you notice BangGood's pretty much our whole supplier for these blood pressure type devices. They've really taken the market by storm with this. This, again, is the Linwo M4. And we have coupons, buying links, and discount prices in the show notes. It came in. I got them on email today. I'll be posting those directly with this device video. So check the show notes. And in terms of what we have, in terms of it's all of its contents, you can get it in black, blue, or rose red. And there's the specs. It highlights that it does blood pressure test, and you can switch between portrait and landscape screen, which I got to tell you is really nice. You don't have to crink your neck to look at it. The 3-axis accelerometer, that helps with getting a good reading of your sleeping, I presume, as well as the lifting your hand to see the time. What it's compatible with, the languages it comes with, and all of that. Standby time, they claim 8 days. And looky, folks, you know that magic word right there, right? IP 67. That means it's fully submersible, waterproof. You can swim, shower, whatever you want with this device, and it's okay. Fully waterproof. Just make sure that when you hook that thing back on, and you can see how tight it is on there, it's not going anywhere, that it's secure, because that would be the only place water would be able to get in. So let's have a look at the band. It's in that tilt to see the display mode right now. So I'm bringing that up, and you've got the battery, the date, and time, and day of the week. You touch the button at the bottom, and it brings that up. There's only one button, and you cycle through everything with that. One tap is home. Then you have the step count for the day. You have the miles that equates to. And you have an ability in the app to change this imperial. So, you can have English or metric. So time, steps, distance, calories burned. Now we're into the mode where it's starting to flash, because it's going to try to calculate your systolic, diastolic blood pressure. It knows I'm not connected on my arm, and it shut itself off. Otherwise, it would stay on and give us those numbers. You got that? Then it goes into your beats per minute heartbeat. Then it goes into your sleep stuff, and it says that last night I slept 6.5 hours, shooting for 8. Yeah, I did get up kind of early today. Then you have this thing, which is the one where if I press it and hold it now, it vibrates and it switches. And now when I go out of here, and that one's a power off. So now when I go back, it's this way, right? So for those of you who like to have it on your arm and look at the time and all the display, I'll show you how you put it on in a minute. I just got to get it over there. From that perspective, that's cool. But I really like it this way, like you'd look at a regular watch. And to me, this is pretty awkward to try to see the time. Although all the digits for all the displays are much larger this way. So it's kind of a thing about whether you want it oriented easier to see or digits large. Okay, now I'm going to switch it back, press and hold, and now we can cycle through this way. There you go. So, how do you put it on? You slide this through here, and then you line it up and you snap it in with both of these, and it's really easy to do. Except you got to get it pretty snug, I think. I mean, there's different philosophies on this. I've seen some say you need it relatively loose, but you can't have it so loose that the sensors aren't touching. So I'm going to pop it in here, snug it up. I'm holding it with my finger, a little trick I found. Then I line it up with my holes, and I snap it in, and now I've got it in there good and solid. You like? That's the one in blue. So we got all of that. We can do the measurements on the arm, but I'd really like to take you over to the app first. The app is called H-Band 2.0. Download that from the Google Play Store. You can do the QR code thing, but really the best bet is just to grab that app. Now, you may notice that this app looks familiar because it's the same app that works with the H09. And we did a full review on this watch as well. Okay, so we're going to show you a lot of the way this app works from the review on this one. I'm going to just clip that and put it in this video so we don't have to go through all the nuances of the app again. You can get really good detail from that one. However, I do want to show you the data that this has produced already. Here's the two different watches. The H09 is actually called a V06, but the M4 is really the M4. So I'm going to link it to the M4. It's connecting into here now, and it should have all of my stuff recorded in there from today and from yesterday. So here's what we've got so far today. And I had it off, so I haven't got any real data. Oh, there we go. Now we're coming in. Okay, it's pulling up from today. The 687 steps listed as maximum. I got 1,262 steps and 6.5 hours, which I think is my sleep time. Here's last night's sleep. Interesting, huh? I tap on it. I can go in to get more detail. They say my sleep quality was good. The duration, awake times, that's not really right though. Had a couple of bathroom runs in there, but maybe that's not considered awake. I fell asleep really at 1 a.m. and I got up at 7:35. Well, not according to my watch. It was probably more around 10 or 11, and I was up about 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. Deep sleep 2 hours, 20 minutes. Light sleep 4 hours and 15 minutes. But that's the data that I've got for last night's sleep quality and sleep statistics. I don't think they're correct, but I only have one data to report for you. When you go into your step count, it also will show you the kind of activity you did, and this was all just walking around a little bit. Every half hour, it's accumulating your steps and it's reporting them. And then it's adding them all up, and it's showing them on a bar graph. So every half hour, look at that. I was walking in my sleep last night. Between 5 and 5:30, I went 67 steps to my bathroom that's 10 steps away. Yeah. I'm showing it like it is, folks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to diss it. I'm just going to show you. Steps, sleep, heart rate. Here's the accumulation of my heart rate data for the day. So throughout the night, I had it on. And yeah, I would wake up occasionally or move my arm and I would see things flashing and think that I had been beamed up to the Borg mothership, and all wired up. But here's accumulation of my heart rate data in the 60s while I was in bed. And then as I was getting up, you can see the heart rate is increasing. Now, on the other video, I think that's the one where I did a lot of exercise and stuff, and you might see some variability there. But in terms of just since midnight last night, that's my heart rate information, and you have a bar graph there. I don't know if you can do anything with this. Well, that's that triple tap thing I have turned on. By the way, when you tap this, it lets you take an instant reading of whatever you're looking at that moment. Probably show you that in the other video. And then the blood pressure. This is a drawback. I really wish it would do the automatic blood pressure thing as well. It apparently doesn't. I don't get any blood pressure data unless I go in here and I actually activate it manually. Now, the good news is this is that incredible app that actually is transmitting Bluetooth, the actual waveform of my heartbeat. Yeah, and we know it's true because now if I mess around with the band a little bit, I jiggle it, I move it, you see how it's changing? Now if I leave it alone, it'll pick back up and get the signal again. We hope. Let me not bend my wrist as much. Now the thing is, it's constantly testing, and I guess it's going to derive its best information from what it sees right there. We'll do one good test. It's like a square wave now. It's cut at the top and at the bottom, which to me says that the diodes are like too bright and you're not seeing the variability. I'd rather see a curved waveform. I'll say yes. I'm going to keep that one just to show you that now when you go back to the app, I have a data entry there, and I have it on the graph, and I have it on the master graph. And if I go to yesterday, here's what I had yesterday in terms of walking. No sleep from the night before because I just put it on. This is when I started with my heart rate. There's a couple of readings for blood pressure that I took, but again, it doesn't do it automatically. It only does it manually. And I'm pretty sure that it only records it manually if you go in. Let's go back to the blood pressure for today. Whoops. Get on today's tab, just in case. Go back into blood pressure. And remember, I had to hit this to start it up. And then at the end, it asked me if I wanted to save it or not. If instead I go in here and I go over to blood pressure and I leave it there, and it takes its reading from my wrist and it shows you the results, it's not going to transmit it to the app. It's not going to save it. You know what I haven't done yet, and we'll try that. We'll let it get a good blood pressure reading on here. And then perhaps when it's on the screen, if I press and hold at that time, maybe that will cause it to record it and save it so it can transfer over to the app. That's a drawback. I don't like the fact that I don't really have a history of blood pressure over time, which I was hoping for. And I think we're going to see the same results with the H09 because that's just the way the app and software interface works. It's possible that they'll improve that, do a firmware update sometime, and it'll become an automatic measurement. A couple of the other watches that we've played with that use a different app do indeed accumulate blood pressure over time, but it's only this one that shows you that waveform that lets you know that you're probably getting a pretty realistic reading because you see the dynamic waveform going. Well, there, it looked like it timed out on me. That's not good. Okay, gonna put it on. Diodes are flashing, right? Yeah, they're working. Maybe I too loose, too tight, too low, too high. It's not at my heart level. I mean, when it comes to blood pressure, as we'll find out when we go through the full detailed review of these devices compared, there's a lot of art to the science of taking blood pressure readings, and it's not exact every time. Oh, I don't know. We'll see if we can get it one more time. I'd like to get a reading off of the watch so that I can test that and see if there's any way we can save a reading on the watch itself. If this doesn't work, we'll try it with the heart rate, because that's a faster reading, and it's the same thing. No, you see it's coming back with XXX. So it's not reading it. All right, let's go to the blood pressure and do it there. Easier to get a blood pressure reading, always, because it's just looking for that beat, not looking for the nuances in the heart wave itself. 90 seems high right now, but I have been talking quite a bit, so it's possible. And I think the way this works is it adjusts over time until it stabilizes on a particular reading. In the meantime, I'm going to go back over here to the heart rate area. And you see that 11 and 11:30 were the last readings here. And what are we at? 11:39. So I'm trying to wait to see if it will actually stop. Wow, look at it bounce all over the place. You know, the technology, the concept is fantastic. These things are getting really, really good. And just a little bit more tweaking. Yeah. It just timed out. And it could be awesome. The only problem is the patient died, you know? They don't seem to be that accurate. Doggone it. I wish they were better, and perhaps they will get better. Now I'm going to risk it and just try and press and hold and see what happens. Yeah, it's not doing anything. It's staying at 92. It's not changing anymore. As far as I know, it hasn't updated here. Let's try pull down. No. So, yeah, there's some things lagging in this that I hope we'll see later. There's the 11:30 reading, which it just took, but not an 11:39. So the app is getting every half hour automatic readings of heart rate and numbers of steps that you've walked in each half hour window. And it's doing this sleep monitoring thing between your normal sleep time and judging about when you actually fell asleep and when you woke up. And that's what the app does. Now, it has this little running thing here that you can begin running, and it's going to do a GPS location where you are, and then you hit start. And I'm moving it off so you guys aren't getting my GPS coordinates right here. It's not really showing much. It says indoor GPS signal is poor and could not accurately track on the maps. So, but it is trying to bring up my maps. So anyway, I'm hitting start. I'm going to move my map off here somewhere. Okay. Okay, there we go. It's showing. It's basically showing a map of where I am with a run and a pause button, and it's accumulating time, pace, and distance that I'm running based apparently on the internal GPS in the app. And I started it from here. Now, this has nothing to do with my steps or anything related to the band that I can tell. This is all happening within the app and the phone itself. So if you're going to go out running and you just want an app that you can use to do a run with against time, you could probably just use the app and download it right now without even buying the band. I don't see where the band contributes to this at all. But what the heck? That's another aspect of it. We're going to cancel and go back. Okay, so that was the running aspect. And then finally in the settings, I guess we will do the whole app review here. Why see it all twice? You touch here and you got your message notifications of what things will vibrate on your band to tell you that you've received any of these notifications or an incoming phone call. You can set alarms, and there's a vibration but no sound that comes out of it. This is your sedentary alarm. It'll remind me right now for every 45 minutes, which is selectable, between the hours of 8 and 5, which are selectable, of what you want to, of reminding you to get up and walk around. It's not sensing your movement. So every 45 minutes, it's going to vibrate. It's just a repeating alarm, basically, during a window of time. Then you can pair the device or not. You have these switch settings, which is night turn wrist. Now, that's the thing that when you turn your wrist, the time comes on, and it knows when it's daytime. I don't know if it's a light sensor or the time, but it will do it automatically. If you turn this on, it will also do it at night. But with it turned off, it won't turn on at night, so you can sleep. Hope that's clear. Wear detection. It's your best friend. Your BFF will be monitoring you all the time to make sure that you are still wearing it. If you turn that off, then and it automatically transfers it to you. It's not going to attempt to detect that you've taken it off. But if you turn it on, it will, which I presume then, setting failed. It's probably still transmitting the other stuff. When you have it on, then it's probably not going to attempt to accumulate step data and other stuff if it knows that it's off. Make sense? Blood pressure test mode. Now, here's where you can set your personally tailored mode if you know that you historically have high blood pressure and you are usually coming in at, let's say, 135 over 90. All right, that's your baseline. Now, I'm not sure about this, but my guess is it resets the calibration on this device, which is then doing your blood pressure that's maybe off of a norm, higher or lower. And so it uses the baseline data that you put in as your typical blood pressure and gives you a deviation reading from that. And that might be why, folks, it seems like these things aren't that accurate. Now, if they're not accurate because they're all over the place, that's one thing. But if they're not accurate because it's always reading 100 to 110 when you're usually 130 to 140, it might be because you got to go in here and put this blood pressure test mode thing at what is more realistically your blood pressure and then try it again. Okay? All kinds of stuff that needs to be tested out. You can reset the password for the device, and then there's a check for a firmware update. And by the way, I did have an update earlier on this. Oh, wow. It looks like we got another one. So we're going to do an update. No, it's the latest one. This, I think, is the firmware update for this app. But it may be the firmware update for the band itself, too. Could be, because it says disconnect and it's connected. Yeah, this is the address for the device itself, which is different than this one, but which both use the same app. By the way, these are the only two I know of that use this app. So if you like this app, you're looking at either the H09 or the M4. And that's it. In here, you have your unit settings that you can go to metric if you like. You can leave them some feedback comments, hopefully in Chinese if you know it. I'm not sure how versed they'll do with English or whatever language you're in, but you could try. And then there's the About Us, which tells us the band version 1.64. All right. You can log out. Logging in, logging out is kind of optional, and I think I'm just logged in a generic account. You're running, we talked about, and there's your dashboard. And that's pretty much all you have is today and yesterday and 2 days ago. You don't go back, as far as I know, any further than that. So you better check your data over the last 3 days. There is no export function that I can find here. There's no other apps that I can connect to that I see. Oh yeah, here's when you tap on that, you can put in all of your stuff, and this is the generic stuff it comes with. Update your profile, and I presume it's this stuff like your weight and your height that is used to calculate your BMI and also to calculate your other things, your calories burned and all of that stuff. Okay, so that's the app, the H-Band 2.0. Whoops, launching something else that goes along with this. So once again, you are looking at the Linwo M4 Health Blood Pressure Band Heart Rate Monitor that is sweet. If you like this one, but you want something that's a little more waterproof, casual, you have the band option or you have the dressy watch option. They both work well. This one's got a much dimmer display, as you can see, side by side. This one's okay to barely read in the shade outside. This one is totally unreadable outside. I really had trouble with this one. But same thing, you press the button and you go through the options that are exactly like what you see on this one, just a slightly different order. And I think this one's also available from BangGood. Check it out. All right, you've been watching SmartWatch Ticks. Get ready, because soon we will be doing an overview of all of these things, try to put them in context and help you decide which, if any, of these blood pressure type bands and watches might be right for you. Thanks for your subscription. We'll see you again soon.